All right, today we're going to dive into a concept that feels like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it really makes you question the very foundation of our daily lives. We're going to imagine what it would be like to completely rewire time itself.
I mean, really, let's just sit with that for a second. Picture it. Your alarm doesn't go off. There's no set time for lunch, and there's no official end to the workday. It's just a continuous flow. What would you even do first? How would you start to structure your life without a clock to guide you?
And that brings us right into our first big idea, an idea without hours. See, this is more than just getting rid of clocks. It's about a total shift in how we relate to time. Think about it. Right now, we are basically ruled by the clock. We cram our lives, our sleep, our creativity, everything into these little predefined boxes. Well, this idea flips that on its head. It imagines a world where your own energy, your focus, that's what dictates your schedule. Time becomes a tool that we use, not a master that we serve.
Now, before you start thinking this is totally impossible, we have to remember one crucial fact. The 24-hour day, it's not a law of nature. As we're about to see, time is a human invention. Yeah, we completely made it up.
What's really wild is just how new our whole concept of the clock is. The ancient Egyptians, they divided daylight into 12 parts, which meant that an hour in the summer was actually way longer than an hour in the winter. The Romans played around with it too, but the super precise mechanical clocks that run our lives today, they've only been around for a few hundred years. That's just a blink of an eye in human history.
So all this history leads to a really powerful question, right? If the 24-hour day is just another piece of human tech, like the wheel or the internet, doesn't that mean we can upgrade it? Can we design a new operating system for time that actually fits our crazy modern lives?
Of course, it's not quite that simple. There's one massive biological hurdle we have to talk about. See, we don't just have clocks on our walls. We've got them built right into our cells.
Yep, I'm talking about our circadian rhythms. This is like our internal pacemaker, a powerful cycle that's been synced up to thousands of years of sunrises and sunsets. It's what makes you sleepy at night and, hopefully, awake and ready to go in the morning. And it's probably the single biggest biological argument against messing with our idea of a day.
But here's the thing. What if we didn't have to be stuck with it? I mean, come on, we already manipulate our internal clocks every single day with stuff like caffeine and artificial light. So what if, in the future, technology gave us a master override switch?
And hey, this isn't just a sci-fi fantasy. Let's look at a real-world example. A day on Mars is about 39 minutes longer than a day here on Earth. So any future colonists who go there will literally have to adapt their bodies to a 24.6-hour cycle. If they can do it because they have to, couldn't we choose to do it here on Earth for a better life?
Okay, so let's say we figure out the biology. What would our world actually look like? This brings us to our next section, life beyond the 9 to 5. I mean, how would the really basic parts of our life, like school and work, even function? Let's start with school. Right now, it's all about seat time. A bell rings, you move to another class. A bell rings, you go home. But in a world without hours, education could be all about mastery. You'd work on a project until you actually get it, whether that takes you 3 hours or 3 days. Learning would be tied to real achievement, not to some arbitrary schedule. And the exact same thing goes for our jobs. The whole 9 to 5 thing is really just a leftover from the industrial age. In this new world, you wouldn't get paid for just showing up. You'd be valued for what you actually produce. It would be the ultimate results-only environment. You'd work when you're at your best, for as long as it takes to get the job done, and that's it.
Now, what about the most fundamental part of our daily rhythm, sleep? To rethink the day, we absolutely have to rethink the night. And that all starts with this one number, 90.
90 minutes. That's about how long one full human sleep cycle lasts. Our whole idea of a solid 8-hour block of sleep is just a social habit. It's not a biological rule. So what if we switch to a more natural schedule, maybe taking a few 90-minute naps whenever our body tells us it needs to rest? Some people who've tried this say they have way more energy. So would you trade one long night for a life that's more in sync with your body's natural rhythms?
Look, this is a huge, game-changing idea. And like any big revolution, it could lead to some very, very different outcomes. Which brings us to the final, critical question: chaos or creative freedom? So which is it? On the one hand, you can just imagine this explosion of art and innovation, with people creating whenever they feel inspired. But on the other hand, how do you run a global economy? How would you even schedule a doctor's appointment? Is it possible that we'd gain all this personal freedom only to lose the very structure that holds our society together.
And let's get personal with this. Forget about society for a minute. Just think about you. Would you feel totally liberated by this new reality? Or would that lack of structure, that lack of a predictable rhythm, would that feel terrifying? Would you embrace the change, or would you find yourself clinging to your watch for dear life? And that's really the final thought we want to leave you with. Tonight, when you set your alarm, just take a second to look at the clock and ask yourself, what if all of a sudden those numbers just didn't matter anymore? What would you do then?